Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to my January reading wrap-up, the first of 2022, whoop whoop. Yes, so exciting. So I read a total of 24 books and then 2 plays, which I debate whether or not I should keep them in my grand total tally of my goal for the end of the year, which I'm aiming for 105 for the whole year. So I don't know. We'll see how the cookie crumbles. I am right now including them, but I'm still marking them as plays instead of full-fledged books, but we will see. Anyways, the first 17 books I already did a whole nother video on if you want to go check that out, because I'm not really going to talk about them. They were Born in Blood series as well as the Kimura Chronicles, and then the 2 standalones that go with them in the universe, all by Cora Riley. So I'll put the link in the description, but you can go watch that because I'm not really going to talk about those at all. But after that, so I read 17 books about mafia romances, kind of dark, kind of heavy, a lot, how it goes. So I was like, I need something light. I need something fun, to I don't know, shake things up a bit, So I was heavily debating the whole while I was reading these 17, what's going to be my next book, what is going to keep my attention, and what's going to put me back into a light book, there's light and dark books, mafia romances are definitely dark, but then rom-com books are definitely light. So I was like, I need something like that. And it was divine intervention, because right then my library, I got the library copy of Beach Read by Emily Henry. So that was my next one. My 18th book of January was Beach Read by Emily Henry. I put reading off this book for such a long time. I don't know why. I read People We Meet on Vacation first, and it was fine. I did not love it. There was a lot of hype around it, and again, I didn't dislike it. It's still a very good book. It just wasn't my favorite book per se. So I think that just not threw me off. I didn't want to read it. I was just it just put Beach Read lower on my TBR list, kind of. But loved Beach Read. Lived up to all of the hype. Literally, I know everyone and their mother has been talking about Beach Read, but it's so good. First 5 stars of the year. I literally can't stop talking about it enough. Go read it. It's so fun. And I thought it was interesting too. I saw a TikToker that they were talking about how they've noticed that with Emily Henry books, because if you don't know, she only has 2 books out so far, People We Meet on Vacation and Beach Read, and usually you like one or the other. You don't really usually love both. I guess I should rephrase that. You love one and the other one's okay, but you're not really that into it. And it switches between people of if they like Beach Read or People We Meet on Vacation more. But I'm firmly in the Beach Read category, and I cannot wait for book lovers to come out. I am anticipating it so much. I'm so excited. So excited. But yes, that was my next book. That was my 18th book. After I finished Beach Read, I don't know why I picked this book. I think again it was just one of those that's been on my TBR for a while. Steph Bohr definitely recommended it ages ago, and I kept seeing it on my TikTok more recently, so I think I was just now or never, this is when I should start reading it. And that would be Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Loved it. I was really shocked about how much I loved this book. I saw a lot of things about Archer Hale, who's the main dude in it. I've seen a lot of stuff about him, but not kind of the book in general. So I was I don't know how we're feeling. It has a very interesting plot. For those of you who don't know, basically Archer is mute, and from an accident he had when he was a kid, and because of that the town's treated him very poorly and kind of made him a hermit, and he doesn't have any friends or family that really look after him or care for him at all. He's kind of just by himself. And then oh my god, I forget her name. Let me look it up. It really took me so long. Her name is Bree. Anyways, so Bree comes to town. She's kind of escaping her own past demons, and her father was deaf, so she knows sign language, so she's able to talk to Archer in a way that no one else has really been able to, and it's this really beautiful love story with plot twists and stuff. I don't know, I thought it was pretty good. And I found out too that, because I was looking at Mia Sheridan's other books, because this is the first Mia Sheridan I've ever read, and she has this this is part of the Signs in Love series, or Love Signs, or I don't remember what the series is called, but anyways, it's like signs in love, and each one is for like written for a different star sign, and I think it's like the guy's supposed to be that star sign, which I very much do like astrology, and that was amazing. I literally texted my friend right away, and I was like, my friend who's into astrology, and I was like, girl, you better believe this is so cool. But and she was, and my friend was like, oh, you know what you should do? You should make like a whole video talk and like reading through like your like birth chart, like do my big three and do like my like Mercury sign and stuff. Like that'd be so cool. Or like do the ones that are compatible with me or whatever. And my big three are my sun is Gemini, my moon is Taurus, and my rising is Cancer. And she does not have a Cancer book as of right now. So I still really want to do that video idea. So if anyone knows any other like astrology based books, I think that's so sick. I would totally love to do that. Or if not, I'll just wait until Mia Sheridan does it Cancer, or just read it and skip my rising sign or something. We'll figure it out. But if anyone has any other videos that they know about, I would love to do that. Anyways, back to the regular scheduled programming. Archer's Voice, amazing, lovely. Again, kind of like it had a lot of darker elements to it. I've kind of been in a darker romance like section of my life right now. I don't know what that says about me, but kind of what I've been leaning towards. It's just like even books on my TBR that I've been reaching for, I've been kind of like going for darker, but you know, it varies. I go very much like in and out of what I like to read. Anyways, it doesn't go with the next one. The next one I started reading was Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. This is the first in the Hot and Hammered series, and also my first Tessa Bailey book I've ever read, which was crazy because I see Tessa Bailey all the time on TikTok, like her herself, like her TikToks come up, and I think they're super funny, and I think she's one of the TikTok, like one of the authors that are really good on TikTok. Not that like a bunch of authors aren't, but like I think she's very good at it. And like I enjoy watching her videos, and I've been wanting to read It Happened One Summer for forever, but I'm like 489th or something on the library, so I either have to like just cave and buy it or like figure it out because it's not coming anytime soon. But I finally got Fix Her Up, which I was super excited for. If you don't know the plot of it, basically the Hot and Hammered series all revolves around like a family who like flips houses for a living. So it centers around that a lot. Kind of gave me like 99% Mine vibes by Sally Thorne, kind of in that sense. But anyways, Fix Her Up is specifically about Georgie, the youngest, which also I'm the youngest child, so I was kind of like, love it. But Georgie, she has not been taken seriously by her family, which like she's a professional clown, like no joke, professional clown, which I think is very funny, but still deserves our respect nonetheless. Basically she's had a crush on her older brother's best friend for like ever. His name's Travis. He was a professional baseball player, but he got injured, and now he's kind of wallowing in self-doubt back in their hometown in Long Island and everything. So it's fake dating, and then it's also best friends brothers. I'm a sucker for fake dating. I love that trope. I think it's one of the best ever. This book was good. I don't think it was like my favorite by far, but it was definitely very fun and definitely would recommend it, especially if you're in like a rom-com mood for a book. It definitely like hits those marks. Sorry, my voice is also like awful. It just has been. I screamed too much this weekend and now it's been shredded ever since, but it's fine. Let me take some water. But anyways, I think it's like a really good rom-com. It set up the other two couples really well too, which are in Love Her or Lose Her and Tools of Engagement, which I will also talk about because I also did read them. But I think it set up the whole series really well, and it was very fun. And then next, I debated even talking about it because it's like so taboo, but I had been seeing stuff for Birthday Girl. The next book is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I've been seeing stuff about Birthday Girl for like ever, and I had no clue what it was about. I literally did not know anything about it. I just knew it was Penelope Douglas, so I knew it was probably going to be wild, but I didn't know like anything about it, and I kind of just went on my merry way. And then for like 2 weeks, I got assaulted with like so much Birthday Girl recommendations, or not even recommendations, just like talking about it, and it made me want to read it. And I remember I like voice memoed my friend, and I was like, hey, like this is what this book's about, kind of crazy, should I read it, should I not? And she was like, no, that sounds so good, like you should read it, like at least for like the kicks and giggles. And I was like, you're right, you're right. So I gave her like her own personal like reading vlog. Like every time I stopped reading, I would like report back to her on voice memo and be like, okay, this and this happened. But I ate that book up. I thought it was like a really good book. My next book, I think this is 20th, I don't really know, was Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey. It's the second in the Hot and Hammered series. This one's about Rosie and Dominic. It's a second chance like romance. It's like they're married and they're having a lot of marital issues, and they're going to therapy to like kind of work them out. You know, this book was interesting to me. It kind of put me in a little reading slump. This was definitely the one that took me the longest to read. It took me like 5 days to read or something, which is not that long, but like in the grand scheme of thing of this month, it was a long time. But I think it's just for me because I'm not a huge second chance romance person, because I love the like falling in love and the, I don't know, I can get behind second chance romances, but usually it's more for me when it's like they fell in love, something happened, they haven't seen each other in a number of years, and not so much how this book was, where it's like they're still together, they've just like lost that love. Like it's very much like gives me vibes of like You Deserve Each Other, or You Two Deserve Each Other. I think it's You Deserve Each Other, which by Sarah Howell, which I didn't really like that book that much either. It's just not my cup of tea. I know other people really enjoy it, but it's just not my cup of tea. But I did love Rosie and Dominic. They were a very cute couple. It just kind of was, again, not my cup of tea. It just like took me a while to get through it. Also, they talk about love languages a lot in this, which I really like love languages, but it made me very interested because I am definitely someone who likes receiving words of affirmation, and so does Rosie in the book. And it was so interesting to like relate to her on that, because like Dominic shows it more in like acts of service, and I was like, that would drive me crazy if someone only gave me acts of service and like never voiced anything to me. So I saw where she was coming from. I was getting that anger, and I feel like I also didn't enjoy it as much just because it was like it had that underlying thing of just like just one little thing was wrong and they both like wanted it so badly, but they just couldn't admit it. And like, you know what I mean? Like when it's like, come on, like just tell the truth, just do it. So it was kind of just infuriating, but I still liked it, still would recommend it. Definitely my least favorite in the Hot and Hammered series, but we go on. Then I read Native Gardens. And this was for class, not gonna lie. I'm a theater major in my senior year, so last semester, so very exciting. But I'm reading this for my playwriting class, but I liked it. I think it was like a very interesting play. Basically, it's like new neighbors come in and they start having this like debate. They find out that their fence is not in the correct place, and the new homeowners have more space in their yard than they thought, but it's going into the other people's yard, but it's not really their yard. But it's like this battle between like, well, they've had it for so long, and it's like, yeah, but we technically own it. And it's like that battle. And then it also deals like a lot with like other underlying like issues of like immigration and like racial racial like stereotypes people place on people of color and things like that. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. It's very fast paced. It's only like 88 pages, but it's mostly dialogue. So I read it probably like in 30 minutes or something. Like it's a really quick read. I would highly recommend it if you're into reading plays. I think it's a very good one. And yeah, so very fun. After that, I read Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey, aka the third in the Hot and Hammered series, the last one. This was my favorite in the Hot and Hammered series. I think it was my favorite couple leading up to it, because they had like tension the whole time. It was Wes and Brittany. And they just had like, is it Brittany? Yeah. Bethany? I'm so bad with the girls' names, I feel like, because I feel like I only ever pay attention to the guy, and I feel like that's a big problem because I never remember their names. It is Bethany, so that's kind of embarrassing. Anyways, Bethany, they've like had tension the entire time, and I also like love like they're like definitely like, they're like light enemies to lovers. Like, I mean, like they're enemies to lovers, but it's not like throat to your knife enemies to lovers. It's very much like they like tease each other, like, you know what I mean, which is so fun, and I love it, and I love that like vibe. And I love to like when you get to see them like progress throughout the series, like we get to see them meet, and like I think it's the first book, maybe it's the second book, and then like we get to like see their relationship develop like in the background, and then we see it like get center stage. Like I love when that happens. Single dad trope. He's not the single dad, but he's a single uncle taking care of his niece, so it's like still the same vibes, and he like really just takes care of Bethany really well, and I think it was just like a very sweet book. I like gobbled it up in one sitting. It was definitely, like I said, my favorite in the series. Still, I don't think it's like my favorite like rom-com romance I've ever read, definitely not, but still very good, very worth the read. But I think it's also worth the read of like the whole series to see their like relationship develop, if that makes sense. Next we have my second play, which is Fleabag by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which this is not Fleabag the scriptures, this is Fleabag the like original play script. Don't get it twisted. So yes, I read this because I was thinking about doing it for my acting class, but it does not work with like, there's like not enough scenes with like another person, so it doesn't really work that well. But anyway, still enjoyed it, still very much liked it. Very trippy reading it because I had already seen the Fleabag TV show, and I had never read the play, and it was very interesting to see because the play was obviously devised first and performed first, and then it got developed into a TV show. So like seeing how it started and then like where it went, and like so many of the lines were the same, and it was so interesting to see it through my eyes because I saw the show first. So like being able to see how they took that and formed it into the TV show was like kind of wild to me, and I really liked seeing that. But anyways, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. Again, a really short read. Most plays are, but like a very short read. Didn't take me that long. If you like Fleabag the show, you'll definitely like Fleabag the play, as they are very similar. And yeah, I just think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just an amazing writer, and it shows in this, so definitely give it a read. And last but not least, certainly, we started the month off with 17 Mafia romances, so I had to end with another Mafia romance. This was so funny to me because most of the time when I get like a bunch of books recommended to me on TikTok, and I kind of just like you know, like the aesthetic videos of like, this is what like it's very like Pinteresty, and a bunch of like Pinterest things, and then they make like a cute collage, and they're like, this is this couple, and I'm like, oh my god, that vibe's so cool. Or they'll be like, they'll put some quotes up there, and they'll be like this, or like they'll do a thing where it's like her enemy like is cleaning her, you know what I mean? Like they like create the scenarios and like talk about the books a lot. Amazing creators on TikTok. And let me look who recommended it. Okay, so it's on TikTok. Kendra.reads was the one that recommended it to me only. She just recommended it to me. But I thought it was funny because I was looking through like a bunch of my books that I had just screenshotted like that and like didn't know anything about them. I do this every once in a while when I like don't know what to read next. I just kind of go through them, and then I'm like, oh, that sounds nothing like that does not sound like anything I want to read. So then I like delete it from my like TBR list, and I do like whatever, like, you know how it is. Or like the other ones I like kind of semi put them in where I would probably want them in my TBR, which always gets ruined because I'm a very emotional reader. But anyways, and I was looking up like a bunch of the books. I had like 3 in there that were Mafia romances, which I had no idea, which like I'm not upset about. I just thought it was very funny considering like I was not a Mafia girly, and then I read the Cora Riley series, and then I put up the video, and I feel like now I got a bunch of Mafia romances recommended to me, which makes a total sense because obviously I read 17 books of them. I made a whole video about them. I was talking about it to my friends. Very much makes sense that my phone would think that I would want more, and I did, so they're not wrong. So the last book, I'm technically not done with it, but it's also technically January 31st at like noon, and I only have 100 pages left, so like I'm definitely gonna finish it tonight, so I'm putting it in regardless. But it is The Heir by Sophie Lark, which is the first in the Kingsmaker series. I'm loving it. I really like it. If you don't know, basically it's like, it's a Mafia romance, but it's also like, it's very different because they're at like a school. So basically it's like the king, oh my god, the Kingmakers. It's like this Kingmaker school, so it's basically like a college, and it's like all of the top, like I guess not top, like all of the like kids of important mafia families are sent to this college to like develop their skills. But it's not just like the heirs, like there's like different levels, like there's the heirs, the people who are going to take over, which are our two main characters of the heir are heirs. But then there's enforcers who are like the brute strength, who are going to like do all the protecting, going to collect not taxes, well I guess kind of taxes, but like collect debts and things like that more. There's assistants, which was new in like the mafia world for me. I had never heard of an assistant, but I mean, makes sense. Not assistant, oh my goodness, accountant. Can you tell I've been doing a lot of homework and things? Anyways, the accountants, which basically they just like deal with all the money laundering and like deal with like all of the kind of like business sides of things, which was very interesting to me because I feel like they're never really like talked about in the other mafia romances I've read, which I've only really read like 2 or 3 series, so whatever. But still, I thought that was cool. And then there's also spies, which was also new with me, and I thought that was very cool to think that they were like spies in training. But I was also like, that's kind of sketchy to me, because if you're being trained to be a spy, who's to say that you're not going to be like a double spy, like, you know? But it's an interesting concept because like mafia kids from every mafia are brought in, and like there's rules, like you can't like go against each other, and they're brought to this island, and like it's like remote, and like you form alliances with like mafia members that you might not form anywhere else. So I think the world building of it's very cool, and it very kind of like separates it from me from like a normal mafia romance, which I very much like, because that can get very tiring of like they're forced into marriage and like they aren't happy and then they like finally get happy. Like it's very like it's different, and I liked it. So basically the first book, The Heir, is about Anna and Leo and Dean, which is also very interesting. There's 3 perspectives going on in the entire book, which I love. I think that's so cool and like such an interesting thing, because it is a love triangle, and I just think that's a really cool way of like showing it. I don't know. I really enjoy it. I'm really excited. They decide to go to Kingmakers together. Great, whatever. But they meet Ares, which I'm obsessed with Ares. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's Ares. I've been saying it like Aries. Oh, oops. But I love him. He's so sweet. He's like a gentle giant, and he's so loyal and so sweet. I hope he gets more screen time. I don't think he gets his own book, because I'm pretty sure I already know who the other books are about, which I'm not going to say because they don't say their names in the description. I had to like search to figure out who they're about, because I couldn't not know, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys if you don't want to know, so I won't say anything. But I don't think he has his own book, but that's just my speculation. Anyways, very sweet. And they like form a bond with him, like an alliance with him or whatever. And then when they're there, they meet Dean, who is like the enemy of Leo, and also like aside from their rivalry, like without even realizing it, Dean kind of stumbles upon meeting Anna and really likes her and like wants to pursue her, and like she's the best in the class, she's like supposed to be the prettiest in the class, she's like the toughest in the class, like all of these things. There's only 4 girl heirs in the freshman year. Also, this is freshman year. Each book is like, because there's 4 books, each book is like the next year, which I think is also very cool. This is freshman year. And yeah, so Dean comes up with the 3rd one. So it's like a love triangle between Anna, Leo, and Dean. I'm not going to go into too many more specifics, and I think it's setting up the other books really well too, which obviously you can tell that that's something I'm very into, because I keep talking about that in these like in series books, but I think it's setting up the other characters really well, that I'm already so excited to read the next ones, which I think are, I know there's the bully and the spy. I forget what the second one's called, but whatever. But very exciting. Love it. Highly recommend. I think it's very fun, especially if you like mafia romances, but I wouldn't even consider this kind of a mafia romance. I would consider it just like a darker romance. I don't know. It doesn't feel very mafia-y to me, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Bleh. So very exciting. And yeah, those were all of my books of 2022 so far, which is very exciting, because this is a lot of books. Also, I realized while I was doing this, and before, because this is the first year too, I've started to use story graphs. So I've started to like put my books in as I'm reading them. And it's crazy to see like how many books I'm reading and like how far along I'm in. I think I'm like 16 books ahead of like my what I should be for like to meet my goal by the end of the year. Kind of crazy to me. But I think it's mostly just because I wasn't doing like anything for the second half or the first half of January because I was on break still. My sister had COVID, so I couldn't hang out with her, and I literally had like nothing to do. So I was just reading with a passion, and then like still same when I came back, like my roommate got COVID, so we were kind of quarantined for a little bit, and for the first few weeks my classes were online, so it was just kind of like, let's buckle down and read, like, you know how it is. So had a lot of fun. Probably most of them will not be this many books. My reading wrap-up is going to do a reading I've decided I'm going to do a reading wrap-up for every month, and then one at the end of the year to just kind of be like, yes, these are all of these, even though you already know all of them because I'll do them. I guess you wouldn't know the December, but anyways, I'm saying a lot of things. Happy to do a reading wrap-up. I think this was really fun, and as always, thank you for watching. You're beautiful and wonderful and amazing. Hope you heard that today, but if not, love you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. You guys are so sweet. Thank you.